Welcome to Link by Golf. I'm your host Ross McGuire, and this is a show that connects people, stories, and a great game of golf we all love. Today I'm joined by the founders of Druids Golf, Kev Holland, and his business partner Tim Ferris. We're getting into their journey, the brand, and how they're doing things differently in golf. Remember, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit follow so you never miss an episode. Let's get into it with the guys from Druids. Great to see you guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a million, Ross. Delighted to be
cheers
on.
for us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me. So we'll just jump straight in. Yourself, Kevin and Tim, where did the brand come from and what's the story all about with Druids? I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, so look, my name is Kevin Holland for your listeners out there. I'm the COO and partner of Druids Golf. Druids started many moons ago now, 11 or 12 years ago back in Ireland, in Kilkenny, about an hour south of Dublin. Very humble beginnings, being honest. We started off with selling caps and towels the old-fashioned way, knocking on doors, trying to get in places. We had one embroidery machine. We used to put the club logo on caps and towels, and we used to set up little stands in the shop and all so that they could display the merchandise, and that was literally the start. And I can remember, any money that was generated or any account that did buy off us, we would literally pool all of that money back into trying to buy the next thing and the next thing. We didn't have any funding, we didn't have any investors or anything. At the time, it was very difficult, and it's very difficult for anybody in any walk of life to get a business off the ground. But in golf, it is a very niche market, and people like to stick to what they know. So to try and disrupt that market can be very challenging, as you can imagine. And we just wanted to try and make the game more accessible for people and make it more affordable, because I believe that is still an ongoing challenge. And yeah, we literally started off doing that, and fast forward 4 years from that point, we had 300 or 400 wholesale accounts across Ireland and the UK. We were a predominantly B2B business. We were selling into shops. That worked quite well. And the concern was when COVID hit at the beginning of 2020, we had our largest pre-orders to date. And we had all of this stock sitting in the warehouse, and we're looking at each other going, if we send this product out to shops and the shops close and they don't have money to be able to pay us, which wouldn't be their fault, we would go under. And they are the fine lines. It is as simple as that. We wouldn't have a business. And that's when we made the decision and to take a big jump to go online, which for me personally, I was very much a face-to-face guy, a salesman on the floor. That was very scary for me to try and find ways to sell online. But I suppose it was the best thing that ever happened. It was a challenging period for people in their lives personally and work-wise. But it was actually the making of Druids, and there was a few of them stories out there at that time. And golf was one of the only sports you could play, and people didn't have a huge amount of money at the time, and it made sense for a brand to disrupt the industry and take out the middleman and almost effectively wholesale directly to the consumer. Yeah, we've never looked back, and here we are in 2026. 170 staff scattered all over the world. We have 3 warehouses. We had a record-breaking year last year of 750,000 orders, and
Wow.
we just want to keep going.
And that's 750,000 orders online.
Yes,
Yeah.
Wow. And is that through Druids?
yeah, that's through Druids.com, and I suppose while I'm on this now, we can't thank our customers enough for supporting us. Like it is a cliche thing, and that when people say that, but you can't run a business without these people supporting you. People are familiar with our marketing now and us being aggressive and maybe doing things differently than the traditional way that golf is meant to be marketed or played. But we don't believe in that internally. That's not our culture. We have a saying called the Druids way, and everybody stands by that, and that is to go with our gut. And we think that the people like what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to embarrass myself here. The name Druids, where did it come from? Is it the area around Druids Glen?
There's actually no, and you know what? People
Right, I've
still
embarrassed myself. Brilliant.
Yeah, no. People
No,
still
that's
to this
okay.
day, honestly, still said my own accountant. I might send this to him. He still says Druids Glen. Like when I talk to him about something. So there is a good story behind it. I suppose it was originally Druids of Ireland. We were an Irish brand. We were based in Ireland, and this nearly brings us to when Tim joined us. Not too far after that beginning. All of our swing tags were, with the tricolour, with Druids of Ireland. And we realised once we went to the UK and places that if we are going to continue to be global, if you like, we were going to have to not make it so Irish, if you like. It needed to be inclusive to everybody. And not everybody wants to pick up a swing tag with the Irish tricolour and so on and so forth. So we shortened it from Druids of Ireland to Druids. And I think that made it a little bit more inclusive, but there was no cool angle. I have no real cool story other than that.
No. I think depending on what you Google as well, Ross, like druids can be seen as wizards, and whether they like it or not, Kevin, that's that's kind of the vibe. So listen, I think with that introduction from Kevin, I'll probably just go offline now. Everybody knows who we are, what we do, but
no, it's all go ahead, listen, please, Tim.
As way of intro, I don't believe in job titles, Ross. We still very much have the startup mentality. I look after marketing, if you like, partner myself, but we're just disruptors, really. Like Kevin's obviously touched on it. I think for me, like the main thing is that we're from all different parts of these islands, if you like. So obviously Kevin's in the Republic of Ireland. You can probably tell with my accent, I grew up on the north coast of Northern Ireland, not far from Portrush. And you have obviously Lewis. Yeah, you have Lewis from Scotland. So we've kind of got everybody from everywhere apart from England. The less we say about that, the better.
And that's actually, Tim, on that note, that's how people ask me, how did we end up in Scotland? Obviously, our CEO, Lewis, he was originally from Scotland and his family are based in Scotland. When it was actually part of that shift was because of Brexit at the time as well. And at the back end of 2019, Brexit was going to start to come in. We actually had just as many accounts in the UK as we did in Ireland. And the concern was Ireland is a lot smaller and we didn't know how the cross-border disruption would impact us. So we literally loaded up a lorry, got ex-European tour player Duncan Stewart, who is also our warehouse manager now to this day, to drive the lorry from Kilkenny to Edinburgh, where we had our first little, I'm not even going to call it a premises, it was more like a shed in which we packed all of the boxes and fired anything remaining left into any of the houses that we knew around the area because we didn't have enough space, and gradually made our way to kind of where we are now. We've a big unit in Newbridge and now also Livingston as well. So
that's awesome.
That's how we ended up.
That's really great to hear. Wow. And it's funny, at the very start, and I'm not going to claim any credit here, but the guys that run golf clubs for cash, I was genuinely one of their first ever customers in Edinburgh. And it was like 4 students living above a post office. And I remember I went to basically sell my clubs to them, or my club or whatever. I've gone upstairs to this flat and there's like laptops everywhere. It was hilarious. Yeah. And I'm like, picked a good place for doing your shipping, boys. I like that.
So whatever.
But that's really cool.
Works, that's where everybody has to start, don't they?
Yeah. And that's it.
I think what's really incredible is that you're saying that COVID was the igniter for the brand and really going further.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only 5 years back. I was sure that Druids had been, really well known for a long time. That's incredible.
I think the main thing, as Kevin said, like there was a lot of doors opened via Druids on that kind of wholesale channel. As Kevin said there was probably as many, if not more, UK stockists than in Ireland.
Right.
But at that time, there's a difference, and I think that's the main thing as well, Ross, that people don't actually really understand, is that, direct B2C golf wholesalers that do clothing on their own, on our scale, are very, very few and far between. And like whatever way you want to say it, COVID was wick for a lot of businesses, but we saw the opportunity, grasped it, and I think that if you go out and you ask anybody, have you heard of Druids, they'll be like, yeah. We've seen them on Facebook, we've seen them on Instagram. But that's kind of what made us different at the time as well, Ross. Like, we literally went all in. I think that's fair to say, Kev. Like, we weren't, stocking the shops then. We had made that business decision that, like, how are we going to get rid of it? And obviously, I'm going to let you introduce, the concept that makes Druids what it is online. Yeah. But yeah, like it was well known, but look, we had the ball and we just ran with it, Ross. We didn't know if we were doing wrong or right. My background was ecommerce. I believed in it. Kevin and I didn't see eye to eye at the start as well, because as he said,
that's an understatement.
This internet thing's never going to catch on, eh?
Yeah, you can probably you can bleep it out, but we fucking hated each other. Kevin was going, why would we do this? I've got these accounts. He's going around. People are happy with the product. I'm the guy going, listen, let's push the website, let's see how we go. Look, I think in any kind of business as well, like, it's good to go through those moments. Like, we all hate each other every other day as well during the growth. That's completely normal, like 100% normal. But here we are, as Kevin says, last year, record-breaking year, 750,000 orders online. So, like, we've buried the hatchet, if you like.
Yeah,
And Kevin's probably more of a fan now.
That's
I
incredible.
obviously, I knew in my heart of hearts that, like, the future would be online with the way things were moving. But when you drive the length and breadth of a country, you leave at 3 a.m. and get to a pro shop at 8 a.m. at the top of Donegal, and they buy €200 worth off you or something. That's the way it was. That's how hard it was. And that's what, I suppose, doing these podcasts and opening ourselves up to the general public and customers or potential customers. We really want them to know these things, because we are no different from any of them. We had a dream, and that was to create a brand that was affordable, that didn't compromise quality. And when we made the shift to e-commerce, it was hard for me to let go of all of the door banging that I'd done. And
the miles you'd driven in that car?
Because I knew once we went this way, there was no turning back. And even though there was still some wholesale accounts supporting us through that transition period, which we appreciated because it allowed us to keep growing the business, I knew that over a period of time, this was not going to work. We wouldn't be able to do both. And if we wanted to be serious about growing the business, growing the game, and making it accessible for people, allowing everybody to look just as good as the next person, we had to make that shift. And I mean, you're going out to suppliers in various countries, you're on back streets, you're feeling things that were curtains, that were this, that were that, that were pillowcases, whatever it is, and you're like, yeah, I like that, can we do something with it? That's the way it was. You're talking about 2 or 3 guys trying to create lines and lines of product and learning and making mistakes. And if I look at our journey from today, we started at a certain level, but you can't start off at the top level. It's not possible. So we're still today learning about fabrics. But the goal was always, in my mind, was you had a lower end brand, but the quality was lower end, and that's why it reflected that. And then there was this humongous gap to your higher end brand. And I'm not going to name names of brands, but the next jump up, it went from like 30 quid to say 60 quid or 70 quid or whatever for a shirt. But what I realised was you were able to actually use the exact same fabrics that these people were using. You were able to use the premium material, and you were able to do the design just as good, not compromise anything. And then all of a sudden it rings alarm bells in your head that, God, I really am only paying for a brand name. Now, a brand name has weight. Of course it has weight. But when you're entering a sport like golf that's already incredibly expensive, to get clubs, to get membership, to do all of the above, the last thing you want to be doing is dropping £100 surely on a pair of trousers. And I suppose, just as Tim touched on then, what made the business and turned the business into maybe something that the golf community never saw before was when Tim launched the website, we started to see some traffic coming in and people picking up a shirt or maybe a top or maybe a cap or whatever it might have been, which was fine. But unfortunately, to get that growth, you've got to figure out ways of how can I increase people's spend? How can I get them more involved in the brand? How can I get them testing all types of products? And that was the birth of the Ambassador Pack, which is our famous 6 for $99 bundle in the UK.
So that's literally where it came from. It was you're trying to get more attachment to other products in your range.
Yeah, but so
you just went straight for it.
Trying to make the customer journey seamless as well. Men in general tend to not be brilliant at picking out stuff. They need their wife or their partner or whatever to maybe suit them and boot them, if you like. So for us, it was creating this bundle builder step where you just choose your jacket, your mid-layer polo, trousers, and then you get your belt and your socks or your cap and your socks or whatever way you want to bespoke it to yourself. And that literally was created on a Sunday. Bedroom stuff, phone calls back and forth, kind of going, what can we do? Tim was then able to create that build for us. And
so you guys were, some of these technology, I mean, I've worked in technology around the web and stuff like that for, 25 years. Some of that technology from a shopping point of view has definitely been there, but not many people have taken on the challenge of actually doing it. They've been quite traditional, and to take men, primarily, right, and try to get them to do that, but you've been really successful with it. I'd love to know, Tim and Kevin, what kind of things you've done to make that successful as you have.
I think, you've touched on it there, like a couple of words, is traditional with golf and accessible, which is obviously 2 completely different things. Like, I think the main thing for me in Druids is, right, doesn't matter what level of golf you play, if you're swinging a club, welcome to the club. And I think that's been a big thing for us. And again, not to go back to COVID and the time, but a lot of people, Ross, were thinking, right, let me get into golf. If you think about like traditions of golf, it's, buttoned up polos, your knitwear, having to look the part, maybe feeling uncomfortable, which is fair enough because that's the stereotypes that golf had attached to it.
Wear your white socks, depending what golf club you're at, or it might be black socks, so they need to be knee length, they need to be ankle length, and all this kind of nonsense.
Yeah, all of that. But if you kind of, think about it on the perspective of, like, we're all from a golf background as well. Like, we all grew up playing golf. It wasn't like, right, there's good money to be made in golf, let's make it better. To kind of touch on what Kevin has said, about the expense, like growing up, as you say, buying, your junior clothing at 40, 50 pounds in the pro shop. There's always been that gap. But the main thing was that whenever we were talking about it, like Kevin hit the nail on the head, it's like, how do we get people to buy more? But whenever you take a step back and you think, right, what do we want to do? Like, we want to change the face of golf. We want to make it more affordable. We want people to have everything at their fingertips. Even competitor websites right now that you go on to, you wonder, like, how do I navigate? Where do I find that to go with this? And that's the reason that the bundles have been, so successful for us. As I say, predominantly we've been a male brand. Predominantly males are lazy online. They want everything very, very quick and easy. But it's not just about having a slick website and having all of the steps be easy to select. It's about the price. Like, one of the big things for me, guys, and you'll know this, Kevin, is that people with the prices that we charge, Ross, still think that we're Chinese drop shippers. That's another reason we want to be doing these podcasts and to go, Jesus, these are actually people. Like, this is important for us.
These are real guys.
Well, they understand, that they know that they have warehouses in Edinburgh.
The first 3 to 4 years, obviously you're growing through this period, and there is hundreds of thousands
so fast.
Trusting you, they are trusting that. Listen, it is what it says. It is what it says in the tin, if you like. But yes, like Tim said, there is the stereotype is how could it be good for that? It's good for that because we have decided to be that niche and to be that brand for the individuals. We have decided to go, right, we're going to go directly to you. I know we've, as Tim said, we all love golf, play golf, but we also all had golf backgrounds pre-Druids, whether it was working in retail or all sorts of things. So we knew what people wanted. I use the kids now, which is a massive category for Druids that was introduced 2 years ago as an example. I have 2 little girls. Tim has three boys. I mean, boys more than anything, even their growth spurts are so fast. Now, if you have a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old wanting to play golf and he goes to a shop, and this has nothing to do with people running these shops. This is the brands controlling this because they're controlling the price. They have to charge 50 quid for a shirt for a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, or 40 quid. It's absolutely insane. And by the way, that polo shirt will be too small for that boy in 6 months' time, or 9 months' time, or 12 months' time. So this is why we even started to introduce kids, ladies, include everybody in this process, because you can go on to druids.com and pick up a kid's polo for £15. And I guarantee you when you get it, you'll be going, hang on a minute, this is actually better than the plain basic one that I could get in the shop, because they don't even have variety for kids because it's a small market, if you like. Well, actually, it's not. It's only small because you're making it small. You're forcing people for it to be small. Instead of making it accessible, getting kids into golf, who are the future of golf, by allow them to be trendy and make it affordable on their parents. That's how you create a culture, and that's how you create a brand.
And if you think about it, I mean, going back to my youth, I'm a good bit older than you guys, I think. Definitely older than you guys. But, when I was growing up, you'd be looking at some of the gear that the guys were wearing, and they're wearing Ralph Lauren stuff, and it looked amazing. You're some of the best players in the world. Like Davis Love always looked kind of pretty cool. I know if you looked at old videos now, you go, what was that guy wearing? But back in the day, and then you go, wait a second, that's going to cost, even back then, it was probably about 300 quid for an outfit. And you're just not going to do that back in the day.
I don't have a problem with that because, that's their space, and a brand does carry a certain amount of weight. But what the public, and I'm sure they do know these things now with brands like ourselves, is I often get asked, why do you not have a high-end professional? Druids could have a high-end professional. Druids has had the opportunity to have the highest of end professionals. We're talking top 10 in the world players. And we regularly have these discussions. We have chosen not to go down that path. And the reason being is we are thinking of our customer and your normal person. because the moment you endorse one of these sports stars at 50 million over a 3-year period or whatever it needs to be, the prices have to reflect that for the
They have
brand.
to go up. Just like golf balls, right? If you look at
Exactly.
the top
So
golf
that's
ball
what you're paying.
brands, they're
Yeah.
funding all the top elite amateurs. They're funding all the players on tour. Look at the number of balls they go through, the range stuff, the marketing level, the players they have to sign, the bonuses they pay. And it just goes straight on the price of the golf ball, right? It's crazy.
That's it. So it's you and me walking into the shop to buy that ball that is paying for that endorsement, right? So that's, when people ask, why don't we have that representation there? We don't believe in doing everything the same way that every other brand has done it. So you need to buy your way into the space by making sure X and Y have it, or somebody with credibility has it. We don't believe in that concept. We believe that getting it into people's hands is enough for the brand to survive, which it's more than done. We've created 170 jobs in the last 4 or 5 years online.
That's just in 4 or 5 years. That happened since you went online.
And we plan
incredible.
to release 250 in the next 18 months. We're actually trying to create opportunity for people as well. So you're supporting a brand that's supporting the next generation of people coming through within the industry and teaching them. And it's what we love about it the most, that we are making a really positive impact in this space.
And I had one of your brand ambassadors on the podcast, Aaron Stewart, joined. I think that was maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and Aaron's got a great brand himself. He creates a lot of really great content, and he's basically saying he's a relatable golfer. He calls himself an average 4 handicap golfer. But I mean, he's putting himself out there and he's done a really nice job in general. I think he does a great job representing you guys. He is a regular golfer. And I say that with the greatest intent. He's a guy who loves golf, goes out and plays, and he loves wearing your brand and representing you. And I think you've embraced that a huge amount with people, and it probably resonates these days a lot more than going to the top superstars and 100%. All of that stuff. It's like, who's the person who's just like me?
What?
That's what we're looking for these days, isn't it? It's not, hey, I'm going to be like, Tiger Woods, or I'm going to be like Rory McIlroy. It's like, most of us have got a reality check. We're probably not going to reach that talent level.
We should be the one interviewing you. You're doing our job for us.
No, at all.
I think
you're really tapping into that. It's everybody who plays golf is a person of their own type,
100%,
who wants to have their things.
Ross, like, everyone's an ambassador. That's why it's called the ambassador pack. Like, ambassador used to be the thing that, here, we'll pay you to wear the stuff. There's the free stuff. If you want to feel like an ambassador, you can. And I think, whenever you talk about affordable brands, you automatically think of hackers, right? You think of people that don't know how to swing a golf club. They want to go in, they want to buy the most affordable gear because it'll get them by. Like, that's been a major, major thing for us over the last 5-6 years as well. Happily say that people would have said, Druids was a hacker's brand because it's affordable and you can get it directly from us. Here, bring it on. We've now, as you say there, Ross, got ambassadors. Yes, Aaron Stewart, Timmy Jordan, really, really talented, golfer. Other ambassadors, if you like, that aren't, live on television every week. But that's important, and it kind of like echoes again a bit about us, like the brand for everyone. You were saying there about Ralph Lauren and stuff back whenever you were growing up. Like, that was potentially out of reach for a lot of people.
Definitely was for me, let me tell you.
Yeah, but we love supporting people on their journey as well, Kevin, both in their jobs and, look at the likes of Danny Young right now, who proudly wears Druids. Great guy from Scotland who's now obviously getting his tour starts. Like, he wears Druids, not because we're paying him a fortune.
He killed it on the Challenge Tour last year.
Exactly.
Absolutely brilliant.
They're the angles that we prefer. Like, you hit the nail on the head. Our influencers or our promoters need to mirror the exact same messaging that we believe in internally in our culture. And that is that you're going to be a proper brand ambassador for the brand, in terms of you're going to appreciate the product, you're going to do the best you can for the brand. And with that, we will give you our full support and our whole team behind you to do that. And it doesn't always need to be monetary. And this is why we differ completely, because we're not trying to buy our way into the space at all. The customer will speak on behalf of the brand. I've always been a believer of that. And they're doing the talking by supporting us. And that's because they see these relatable individuals wearing it. They don't see your really high-end guy, or your guy that maybe doesn't, or lady who doesn't maybe fit in with realism. if you like. So we try to keep it very much within everybody's compass, if you like. We're all golfers who want to try and improve. We all hit the odd bad shot, more than the odd bad shot. Tim certainly does, yeah. Yeah, look, we do genuinely love what we do, and it is a dream come true for us to be in this situation that we're in now. We still can't quite believe it. Every year we turn into it, we really can't.
I think what's really nice is you're creating a community. There's people out there who want to wear your brand, and I love that fact you've called it Ambassador Pack, because you're empowering people to be the ambassadors themselves, rather than feeling like that's always somebody else. It can be them.
Yeah.
And just think about the kids as well. When you're a wee guy or girl, getting that chance to be the person who's wearing the gear that they've seen, how cool is that? If you're a 10-year-old kid and you go,
100%.
oh, here's your golf outfit. Oh, I saw somebody wearing that on Instagram, or I saw it. That's incredible for them. They maybe seen somebody on YouTube, they might have seen some of Aaron's videos, other people that you've got as ambassadors on YouTube or wherever.
Yeah.
That's going to bring them to you as well. That's really, really fantastic.
You know yourself, Ross, from playing golf, like, it's about confidence, right? And I don't want to be all cliche, but like looking good, playing good, like, it does happen and it can help you. And I think, one of the kind of key things for us as well, chatting about the traditions of golf, you normally had like a spring, summer catalogue or range, and then you had an autumn, winter catalogue or range. Like, I think the flexibility that we have and the reason why it goes so well online is that we get inspiration from everywhere, right? But like, the brand Supreme, Ross. You might know the brand Supreme. Huge online. They do a weekly drop. That's kind of the culture that we're creating at Druids as well, is where if you want to come in and buy something this week, you're more than welcome to come back next week and you might see something new. There'll be definitely different styles and whatnot. Like, that doesn't happen in golf either. And again, it's not down to us going, right, we want to beat all of our competitors to make sure we've got more and more new gear all the time. But it's about like what makes Druids different. Like, give me any other direct kind of B2C, brand, because that's what we are now. We're a brand that's giving you the option to say, buy something now in January, come back in February and kit yourself out again. And because our prices are that nice as well, it keeps it in reach.
Yeah.
And as you say, we've got great people. We've got people that, we have on our ambassador program, but we've also got great people, Ross, that wear it to the driving range. Like, if you had access to our Instagram, you would see 30, 40, private messages every day with people hitting balls at the range, proud to wear Druids. And like, that's something that whenever you reflect back on the hard days, if you like, Kevin, like, it's crazy to think, Kevin said there about my 3 sons, but the biggest buzz for me right now is that we're in Tesco or Asda and someone that I do not know is walking up an aisle and I don't see them, but Sevi or Felix goes, look, Dad, Druids, look, Dad, Druids D. Like, that for me.
That genuinely is. Like Tim said there, my daughter, she's 6, Heidi. We have a game if we're ever in the airport where she will spot the D, basically, which is generally have,
That's so cool. Honestly, it's so cool.
How we time how long it, like, honest, the buzz, fuck off office, if you like, and I'll say it outright, and a big boardroom where we all come in suits and all that. That is not Druids. We aren't that. We are you. We are the person who's listening to this. I can guarantee you that. We're just normal lads who live normal lives, who can't believe that we're in this position. Now, we believed and we backed ourselves and we worked incredibly hard to get here and make that change, because I can't explain to you the amount of sacrifices you have to go through to get to this, between sleepless nights to, not knowing where the next dime is going to come from or how you're going to be able to order your next order and all of these things. Thankfully, we don't need to worry about some of that stuff anymore to the same extent, but it's taken time to get there, like any good thing in life. But I can guarantee you, we still look at every little thing the exact same way we did years ago. And that is certainly lost within industries as you get bigger and bigger. I promised and swore to myself and my family that I'd never change no matter what happened or how big Druids ever got.
The corporate world, because I've been in the corporate world in terms of big companies and smaller companies, and I think it's incredibly interesting that you go from these, and I've worked in technology all that time, so you got incredible innovators, just like you guys, right? And they're in technology and they build this phenomenal product. And before they know it, they've got hundreds of staff, they end up with thousands of staff. And along the way, something, not all the time, and I'm not saying it's like large companies go completely off the rails or anything, but along the way, it's really hard to keep that innovation, that energy, that simplicity of decision making and all that kind of stuff in place, because it gets lost in the process, the system, the new people you bring on. It's hard to keep the culture going. And I'm talking generically across all companies, not just the ones that I've worked for. You've got a unique position where you're still maintaining that culture, you're growing quickly.
Yeah,
but you've also got agility that other brands probably have got no idea how fast you can move.
Yeah, like Tim, if you want to talk about being corporate or whatever, like kind of touching on what I was doing, like, we get on many Zooms or important meetings where we're the furthest thing from corporate. Like we are the guys that you want to be in your four-ball. We will be the lad cracking a beer on the first tee at 10:30 in the morning. Like that is who we are. It's the best feeling being able to maintain that, because the people around you keep you grounded from what's going on with growth.
And that's the thing. Like it genuinely is hockey stick growth, Ross, where it's kind of went from zero and it's still going up and it's still going up. But as Kevin says, like we've got a great team. Everybody is valuable to us within our marketing team, within our email team, certainly operationally for yourself over there in Scotland, like that's where the heartbeat of the operation is. But as we say, like we talk all the time, Ross, like we know our stats, and that's as corporate as we get, where we'll look at, what are the sales and how many people are online, that's where it ends, like listening to other podcasts, watching documentaries and things, you kind of go to yourself, like they're making documentaries on these tech startups, music startups, that we're actually on a bigger trajectory, man. We're literally going quicker, we're growing harder and we're growing faster. But as Kevin said, like it's remaining grounded for us is very, very important, where you kind of like being that kind of silent assassin where people don't know you for, founding a brand or being a partner in a brand or pushing a brand like that. That's what's cool. You kind of lose it whenever no disrespect to the world, where it's all about you. The minute that this brand becomes about Kevin, Lewis, or myself being the person that they associate with it, that's where you lose it. Because then people lose a bit of respect for you. It genuinely is, Ross. You wouldn't believe the numbers that we get on first-time customer basis. And that's kind of where you're scratching your head and you're going, you know what? We're doing really, really healthy numbers. Numbers beyond probably our wildest dreams 10 years ago. But there's still more to come, because there's more and more new people, and it's not...
Because you're still very early in the journey. That's
and it's not all about the UK and Ireland now either. To touch on.
So you've been hitting the States as well, right?
America's strong, France, Germany. It's nuts.
About between 31 to 33 countries a day, which is something that we never thought would be possible. We sell everywhere. We literally are a global brand, and we get such a kick out of shipping to locations that we didn't even think that we could potentially market to. I mean,
potentially didn't even know existed.
Yeah,
100%.
People might be surprised to hear this, but like, if there's any Icelandic listeners out there, we do.
I have listeners in Iceland. That's good, and I don't mean the shop.
Places that you'd say, look, we've got no chance. It's caught on everywhere. Everybody knows somebody somewhere, and I love when I go, once a week, my friends in my home club, and that we go away for a few days to play golf together. And, last year specifically, when I went away, I ran into groups of people from, Denmark, Portugal, Belgium, Germany. I literally could not believe, even for me, seeing it regularly, how many people were wearing it, how many groups of individuals got their team shirts, their pineapple skulls or their mad pattern shirts, something that we would do loud, and they all wear the same outfit on the same day. It was so cool meeting all of these people and realizing that, like, you can get caught behind, like, working behind a laptop and sitting at a desk. Like, that's the real world. These parcels are actually going to real homes in different countries, and
tangible, it's real. It's not just an internet webpage. There's actually real stuff going to people who are wearing it.
But you can hear it in us. Like, that's still the buzz is still there for that, actually seeing somebody, as I said, on that golf trip in Spain from Denmark, and their 16 other friends wearing the shorts, the belt, and a shirt because we were running a deal on it or whatever. It's just fantastic. Like that's why you do what we do.
Absolutely. And I'm conscious of our time here, guys. So I think what we'll do is, I'll say wrap up here. And what I'll do is I'll share druids.com and the show notes and all that kind of stuff. And then I'd love to get you back on for another catch up, talk more about some specifics around the products and that kind of thing, and we can go a little bit deeper on some of those topics too. How does that sound?
That's brilliant. Yeah, I think so.
100%.
Sounds
Where
great.
are you based, Ross, as well?
I'm based near London.
Okay.
Don't let the accent fool you. I escaped Scotland a few years ago.
I thought you were going to say you're literally half an hour around the corner. We're going to offer you a job.
No, I'm down south, so yeah.
Brilliant. Ross, listen, it was lovely to
Yeah.
meet you. I really appreciate you giving us the time to tell a bit of our story. We'd love to be able to do it again. I actually haven't done a podcast, would you believe, since we were in Kilkenny. I was thinking about this. I was talking to my wife about it. It's probably going back 8 years ago I done my first podcast. So, we were a little bit, it's mad. With all of the busy things going on, you think, God, like a podcast is a walk in the park to do in my day nowadays. But actually, a few minutes before I got on, I was kind of talking through it with Tim here. What should we do? And panicking a little bit. But hopefully people will. Hopefully people can resonate with it, and hopefully we answered some questions as well that maybe people might have had out there.
Yeah, this has been brilliant. Thanks so much.
Cool. Thanks very much, Ross. And sure, yeah, we'll see you again. Just reach out. All right.
Absolutely.
That's it for this episode of Link by Golf. Huge thanks to Kev Holland and Tim Ferriss from Druids Golf for joining me and sharing the story behind the brand. From building something disruptive in golf to the mindset and creativity that's helped Druids stand out in a crowded space. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you follow Link by Golf wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to share it with your friends to help grow the community further. Until next time, thanks for listening.